Now it lets me zoom in. Well, let's just stay zoomed down a little bit right there. Can't see what's going on. Yeah, that'll do. Hi, hello. Good afternoon to everybody joining me. I'm sorry I've been pretty slow on posting on Instagram and here on YouTube, making videos, and I keep on pushing off those car stencils. It is just way too hot to be spray painting outdoors, unfortunately. We're like sitting in the high 80s into the 90s, and that's too hot for comfort, for me at least. So, well, I've been holding off on all of those. I was able to have some family over recently, and I got to enjoy their company, which was awesome. Much needed break from the day-to-day life. And as soon as the stream is over, I will get to posting those close-ups of last Monday's live stream that we did, going around the dollar store paints. And when I mentioned I was going to be taking a break from the dollar store paints, the majority of these colors here were from the dollar store, other than I think I added a purple in one other one. This one here. That one was not exclusively from the dollar store, but some of you might remember me talking about this pink smelling like a raisin box. It is the weirdest thing I have ever come across. I have no idea what's going on or how that came to be, but that's just kind of how it is. So I thought today we would try something a little different. I found this, and I thought that would be kind of a fun little thing to, like, you know, pour out onto the canvas, and that way you guys can see all of the colors. So instead of pouring the colors straight into here, because we would end up getting a straight line or a straight pour, I'm going to pour them into a cup, and then I will take that cup, pour it into the gravy boat, and then pour it out. That way it kind of gives the colors a chance to mingle a little bit. And because it's so hot out, we are going to be sticking with blues, greens, and a little bit of gold. Yes, we are jumping back into having gold in our pictures. There's just something about it. I can't stay away from it. Already in this cup, we have a watered down black from Craft Smart. Here is the bottle. Found this at Michael's. They were having a giant sale, and I had to pick this up because I go through the colors black and white the most, so I figured why not just go big. All right, first up we are going to add Apple Barrel Gloss Clover, Deep Phthalo Blue from the dollar store, and Turquoise Blue by Americana. This is a home mixed color concoction that I created. And we're just gonna dunk that right into the black. Take out the paint skin that showed up. Those will ruin any pour painting. So you wanna make sure your paint is free of those. It just happens whenever the paint dries inside the bottle. There we go. But if you don't catch it, it will definitely show up in your pour painting, and then it will just come across as like a giant lump or worm. Nobody wants that. Okay, so that's going in with the black, and then I've got this really pretty paint right here, Spin Drip Pour by Drizzle. Also found this at Michael's. It has a color shift property where it goes from this teal blue green to a shimmer of a light sky blue. I like this one a lot. And I wouldn't mind this one to be a little bit on the heavier side, just because it's one of my favorites. So we have two pretty similar colors. I'm going to next add in deep blue and phthalo blue, both of them from the dollar store, plus water. I'm going to add this one into the mix. And for today's canvas, I am actually working with a long style canvas. It's a 7 by 14, which is pretty cool. Somebody decided to text me. Okay, moving on. So we've got the deep dark blue. I want to brighten it up again with this pastel green that I made. It is on the lighter side and it is also more watered down. It's given me some really nice effects in the past, but I think this would go really well in the mix because we are going to add yellow right behind it. And yes, yellow is just going to give us more green, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry too much about reflections anymore. There's just the lighting that I have in my room is, it's basically, I'm right in front of a window, and you know, as if it's a reflection in black paint, you're not really going to be able to see too many facial features. But you know, I just don't want my face to be on camera. Reflections, well, that's, you know, unless I change locations, go to a different room, or figure out better lighting so I don't get the reflecting up underneath of my face. It's just, it's gonna happen. So I'm not all that concerned about it. Okay, next up, this is a sky blue that I used also from the dollar store, plus Craft Smart White Tempera paint and water. It is going to be on the thicker side, so maybe that one will stick around for a bit. And lastly, let's finally add in that gold. Fluid Art Ready to Pour Acrylic by Deco Art. Also found at Michael's. Michael's was having a pretty good sale that day. And let's make sure that gets distributed nicely. I hope there aren't any paint skins in that one. All right, so we have a good amount of paint in our cup. Let's have a closer look. If my phone wants to focus. Please. Well, we might not get any sharp images today. All right, here we go. We're going to pour into the gravy boat. Let the colors mingle a little bit. And I like how I decided to keep the black in the bottom of the cup because it's actually somewhat mixing with the rest of the colors. Like that right there looks pretty cool. Yeah, my phone just does not want to focus today. All right, but let's see what we get. We're going to do a line. Nice and gentle. Okay, gonna do a line again. cross over. And I'd like to retain some color. I'd like to have some of that yellow stick around. Okay, so there's a lot of paint on here already, and we are just getting a mix of colors. So I'm going to set this aside. And this is our cup. This is not our cup. This is our canvas. Try to zoom in for you guys. Maybe then, there we go. The image is a little bit sharper. You can kind of see what we're working with. Yeah, so we got a nice array of colors there. Sorry for all of the grinding plastic. Okay, let's zoom you guys out. Oh, now it wants to show up. Okay, I see how it is. Now, unfortunately, I won't be able to get the entire canvas on camera just because the way how my setup is, it has to be at a certain angle. I can't like spin my phone around and have just the canvas on camera. It's just set really strange. I don't mind if some of the black peeks through the rest of the colors like that. It kind of helps add a little bit of separation. And we'll just take care of that last corner. There's a good amount of paint on this one. And I'll take you guys down for a closer look here in a second. I just gotta make sure the edges are all covered. It'll be time to wash this apron soon. If anybody has any tips on how to wash a paint covered apron, let me know, because I'd hate to accidentally dry my washer, or dye my washer in all of my previous paint colors, or just leaves a bunch of gunk behind. We don't want to do that. Okay, let's zoom in, get paint on my phone. And nope, camera wants to be all fuzzy again. Okay, got some nice little puffy cells going on. I'll be excited to see this when it dries. The metallic paint that we put in there with the blues, when it dries, it really, really shines. But there's the canvas in its entirety. And maybe I'll just bring it up for a closer look. Nope, phone doesn't want to focus. Well, you know what? I'm going to blame it on the heat. We are only going to do one canvas today, but that is just because I am getting low on canvases already. I could whip out another 7 by 14, but I primarily want to save those for the car stencils. So I might plan a time in the evening where it's starting to cool down that I can finally do some spray painting with enough daylight to be able to see what I'm doing and be able to pack up at the end of the day. Because otherwise, you know, is just, I gotta, why am I explaining this? I don't know. Or you know what? Yeah, let's just recycle this one. Let me get this canvas something to sit on so it can dry. And we will recycle this little canvas over here that I just pulled up. Oh, that just barely fits. Well, I might end up accidentally taking off some paint by the time this one dries. All right, well, now that I have this one, looks like we are doing one more. Only I don't quite have enough paint to cover it, so we are just going to use the leftovers and use that to pour our next set of colors on top, which I'm just going to recycle the colors that I've already used. That way it stays pretty harmonious. If I have enough. And while it's not completely necessary, it just helps in preventing me from losing too much paint. So I'll just take a stick, spread that around. One of my friends who did pour painting for a little while, she would actually have a jug at the bottom of her painting bin, similar to the void that I have here, my nickname for this black tub. She would have a jug at the bottom of her tub, collect the paint that dribbled off her pour paintings, and mix them all together to make a new color. And she would often use that as the background color or to pre-coat her canvases before she started pouring. I'm like, that is such a good idea. However, I don't have anything big enough to catch all of the paint that would spill out onto it. And it honestly, it would just be kind of too much work for me. Like, I like the idea and the concept, but it's just a little bit more work than I'd like. So we are going in with a deep phthalo blue, and we won't add too much paint to this one just because it is much smaller. Let's go in with the pale green, pale spring green. Ooh, paint skin already. Got it. Okay. Let's go in with yellow. Keep it nice and bright. Anytime any of you want to see certain colors or a color theme, go ahead and message me on Instagram or YouTube and just tell me what colors you'd like to see put together. Any colors you want, I pretty much have them. Especially since the dollar stores got such bright, vibrant colors of paint, despite how weird they smell. They've got them. So if you want hot pink, black, and yellow, I've got it. Or if you want, say, purple, orange, and I don't know, green, I got it. Just let me know what you want to see. Okay, then we're going in with that teal blue. Kind of going up a little bit high, just so it actually gets through the bottom of the cup. Okay, last but not least, let's add in, just to be a little different, let's see what happens when we add this home mixed red that I made. It's like a pink red. It looks more pink on the bottle, but I believe it was scarlet, white, and orange mixed by hand. We might get some mud, but it's always an experiment on this channel, and I am okay with that. All right, now that we have our cup, here it is. Not that you can see the details. Let's pour it in. Actually, I guess that pink red is more like a coral. Boy, this would have been a pretty pour just on the canvas by itself. This is what we're working with. That does look pretty. It's really washed out on my phone for whatever reason, but it looks pretty cool. Here we go. There's a lot going on here. Let's see if we can't drizzle some last minute colors out there. Not that we're going to have any problem covering those edges with how much paint we got. Oh, that looks cool. A little bit of cells going on right there. I wonder if I'll be able to peel the paint off this. I don't think I will, but that would be super cool. Okay, let's see what happens. This looks like it's going to be another... Some of the ones that I've done that have a pour straight in the center reminds me of a rose, especially when I use those pink reds or the coral red. It just makes me think of a rose. Come on, I want you to get down to the corner. I think I will pour off some of that extra green. Okay. Oh wow, it's super washed out. You can't see any details on my camera. Here we go. Okay, there's a closer look at everything. This is pretty washed out already, but it looks non-existent on my phone. What's up with that? Ugh. I think my phone's getting too old for this. Well, that's definitely one that I'll have to post onto Instagram for close-ups just because it's, you guys, I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's like, hold tight. I'm going to try and clean off my lens. Nope, didn't do anything. Maybe if I try to block the light. Kind of, not really. Okay. Well, I'll be posting pictures of this one on Instagram shortly after this live stream, so that way everybody can see it instead of just seeing a fog of color. That's going to be it for today. It is insanely hot. I'm going to take a cold shower. I will see you guys next Monday. Bye for now.